I know we've been very patient on judgment, but it doesn't look good.
But we're not really patient on judgment, and I think we've got to be very, very careful, because with the leaks, plug up the leaks, because whenever you have a leaky faucet, you can have a flood. So let's just stop that. One of the things that concerns me are the 4,000 murders that we've had in Chicago over the past 8 years, but only 600 of them or so have been solved. Last year we had 530 shootings, about 17% of them that were fatal were solved. That were non-fatal, what, 6.5%, 7%? So the technology exists, number one. That's the good news, to find out a lot about this kind of crime. Okay, so that's good. I just want to see that technology put on the South Side, on the West Side, and in poor neighborhoods.
So do you think that this is getting more attention, maybe detectives, officers, everything, because it's a celebrity case?
Well, you know, we do that.
Yeah, a lot of people have said that. We've gotten
We
comments about how, you know, this may happen, you know, in different areas and nobody pays any attention, but now we've got the whole, which I think is why this is so troubling if it's not legitimate. Because if you have wasted the resources that could be going to solve these unsolved murders or rapes or sex trafficking or whatever the case may be, if you're putting all of your resources into finding out this because it's celebrity, and then it's not the case, that's a problem.
It's a major issue.
That's true, that's true.
It's a major issue.
So we're just gonna wait and see what happens.
Yeah, having that been said, oh, go ahead.
But you know, but I think if the worst scenario plays out, I want him to get help.
Exactly.
We just started off the show at the top talking about my family that experienced, you know, when one person goes to jail or when one family member is in trouble, everybody's in trouble.
Sure.
My mother said, when something is wrong with my baby, something is wrong with me.
Right.
And I just want us to become a more compassionate society. Because you know, my pastor's wife, Reverend Clay Evans' wife, Mrs. Evans, said years ago, you know where you've been, but you don't know where you're going.
You don't.
And so in life, we just kind of have to, we're in this kind of snap culture. We're a tweet away from getting destroyed.
Social media, yeah.
There you go. All right, well, let's move on. I want to get to this story because this is in the Chicago Tribune. This is about the use of censored lyrics, uncensored lyrics being played in public places. Specifically the N-word and
in rap songs.
In rap songs and like being in a coffee shop and then the N-words being blasted or swear words. As a society, how should we handle this? Should this be appropriate? I think that we can all agree there's a time and place for, I mean, we're on broadcast television. There's certain words that I can't say right now. There's certain words that are radio edited.
But I think in this coffee shop's case, they said it was streaming. So it's not like they selected the song, but because it was on a streaming service and it was, you know how those things are. You say play, you know, hip hop music, and then you get a series of songs. Some have them, some don't.
Right. But if you're running a public business,
should you even have it streaming, or should you create your own playlist? That's a good question.
Right, because you got children, you got, you know, these are family places. You shouldn't be playing that type of music. I think we can agree on that.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I do. Yeah. I do. I mean,
you gotta be more careful.
Well, you know, years ago, Reverend Jackson campaigned to get these filthy lyrics out of our music. Many of you might remember that. And you see how the culture has been coarsened by the use of the B word, the N-word, and misogynistic lyrics. I mean, and it's not just in hip hop. I mean, we saw this in rock and hard rock.
Sure.
I mean, so the hatred for women and the hatred for vulnerable people is all over the culture. It's all in the music. And so when you are in a public space, I don't need to hear that. But we have also gotten into a place where we talked about S-hole countries. And what was appalling to me about those 3 or 4 days that I was watching it on television, everybody was using the S word. I said, are you kidding me? Wait. You can't, no, you can't do that. So we've gotten too accustomed to vulgarity, and it has hurt all of us. So we are the ones who are going to have to step back and say, you know, when you are in that public space, to say, wait, turn that off.
Right. That's what I was going to ask. How do we turn it around?
No,
how do we change the culture? You just
look, we're grown people here. We're grown people, and I've got nieces and nephews. I don't have children, but I've got godchildren.
Right.
And I feel a responsibility for all the children and the people that I see. My mother, I don't want her to hear that.
Right.
I don't want my father to hear that. I don't want to hear it because, you know, there is scientific evidence that shows that when you hear that kind of language, it changes your vibration. It really does. When people are keeping things light and fun, everybody stays light and fun. But when you utter those expletives, words that need to be deleted, guess what happens? something in the atmosphere changes.
Yeah. Right. How much of it is on the musicians, the rappers, the rock stars to start thinking about social consciousness and what they're putting out there?
How about the record company owners? Berry Gordy didn't do this. Al Bell didn't do this when he owned Stax Records. Clarence Avant didn't do this. Now, somehow or another, somebody decided that it was okay to be nasty. Mm-hmm. Okay? We don't remember Diana Ross or any of the Jackson 5 hits or Stevie Wonder or the Staple Singers and Otis Redding. Try a little tenderness. Come on now.
Right.
Yeah.
No. Now, because I know some of these artists who have said, look, I've wanted to put a love song that was clean on my album, and my record company had told me no. That's real. That's real. So we have to take a responsibility also, because we cannot demand this kind of music. We have to say, you know what, I am going to say I'm not going to buy it.
Right, but kids are so heavily influenced, you know?
Stop. Who's the parent?
Well, right. That's a whole nother argument. That's a whole nother argument.
That's not even an argument, Ryan.
But, well, you can't monitor your kids at all times. And like when 2 Live Crew, they were like one of the first big groups that came out and said, we're using our freedom of expression. And the kids jumped on board because athletes, artists, musicians, famous people have so much impact. More than parents, sadly, in a lot of ways.
But you know, I remember when, what was it, when rap became hip hop.
Right.
And when we married, rap,
you know what, NWA?
Well, no, it was before. I'm a little older than you, so it was before that. Okay. Run DMC got with, I forget the rock group.
Aerosmith.
Aerosmith.
Yeah.
That's when we got our lyrics coarsened. Check the record, because before that, rap, because I grew up with rappers like you mentioned, Michelle Robinson. We used to sit on the back of the bus on the Jeffrey 6, and we were competing with each other on who could do Rapper's Delight.
Yeah. Yeah.
I saw them perform in college.
We were like, oh yeah, wait a minute, no, you.
Yeah.
Now that was fun.
Yeah.
Right.
Now something else has happened.
Sure.
Right.
And we as adults in this society who care for our children are going to have to take a stand and say this is unacceptable.
Yep.
That's all you have to do.
There you go. All right. Hey, speaking of music, there's a new debate. New debate. Michael Jackson or Beyonce? Who is greater?
Okay, this is our first poll question, and you probably know Michael Eric Dyson, I'm sure, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay, well, you'll explain
Michael
how
Jackson
this.
too.
Yes.
Well, okay, let me ask this question first, real quick, before we get into it, because you can start weighing in at WindyCityLive.com/vote. Michael Jackson versus Beyonce, who's really the greatest of all time? Who is the GOAT?
Right. Michael Eric Dyson wrote an essay, and he basically said that Beyonce has snatched. Look at the audience; they're debating themselves up there.
Just get on your phones and vote.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't think it's close. I mean, I don't think it's close. I think
Michael Jackson, right?
Michael is the king of pop, as Michael Jordan is the king of basketball.
Right.
Beyonce is great.
Beyonce
is great. She's fantastic.
And we love the Beehive. Don't stop writing us.
But But for me, it's not. Michael Jordan over LeBron is easy for me too.
Well, hold on.
Is it a generational thing?
Oh, it is. LeBron is great. LeBron is close number 2, but Michael Jordan for me.
I don't want the Beehive coming after me, but I have to tell you, when I look at all that, and I love Beyonce. I love the fact that she is this young woman who, with her parents, decided to take control of her business. But her predecessor is Michael Jackson.
Right.
Michael Jackson, when we went to his funeral in California, and as we were riding there, my brother Yusef turned around and he said, you know what? No one gave him this crown. It gives me chills. He said he took it. Because he's the one who had to claim and proclaim, I am the king of pop. I've sold 1 billion records in my lifetime.
Right.
1 billion.
Right.
And I've done the Chitlin circuit. I've done everything. I've hopped through every hoop. I am the greatest of all time. Give it to him and may he rest in power and peace.
Right. What do you think? I got to ask you, since we're talking about him, because there's a new documentary coming out. I believe it's on HBO.
I'm not going to watch that.
You're not going to watch it? Yeah, Survive.
I'm not sure what the title is, but it is going to have some explosive allegations.
Yes, Surviving Neverland.
Let me tell you something. We decide whom we're going to go after. There are a lot of people whom we have excused. Now, why we will not let this man rest in peace and rest in power, I don't know. But I know this. No one can dispute the joy that he brought each one of us in our lives. Nobody, you can't dispute that. Now, people have their issues, but when you start digging in people's lives, you're going to be disappointed in a lot of folks. So let's just let his art live, let him be who he is. I love Michael, I love you. I love you. And I don't have to love Michael and not like Beyonce. I don't like, that to me,
Yeah,
that's
the same thing. Listen, I love LeBron. I think what LeBron is doing off of the basketball
You got it.
for real. I think you can love them both.
Guy. He's got
You can love them both. I love them both.
Yeah.
When it comes to the king, if you want to say the king.
Yeah.
No, do you think it's a generational thing, though? Do you think?
Yes.
It could be.
Okay.
Yeah,
I do.
it could be. But I don't know. I mean, we're still, I think, well, I wasn't here during the Michael Jordan era.
But you saw it plenty against Magic.
I did see plenty against Magic.
I was about to ask her, were you alive?
Yeah, I was on the
She's
West
such a
Coast
baby.
at the Forum watching Magic and Kareem and Worthy and Byron
Showtime.
Scott. Yeah, sorry.
Showtime.
Listen, I've been here a long time
Okay.
now. I'm a convert. I'm a convert.
That's right.
Showtime.
But
Showtime.
I do think LeBron has snuck up on Michael Jordan. Can I say that
Oh,
at
yeah,
least?
for sure.
No? You guys are saying he's not even close?
No. You know what? I think
Is he not close?
You know what? I will say this. You had to be, but you know, for those of us who, I grew up in Chicago, right? Now you know, God bless the Bulls. It was hard living here in Chicago with those Bulls in the 70s and the 80s. It was hard. And then Michael Jordan, through the sheer force of his will, his work ethic. I mean, this is a guy who didn't make the varsity basketball team, right?
Yes.
This is someone who lifted a whole team and a city and a nation and, now, to be fair, LeBron, with what he's doing with education,
what he's doing off the court is
appreciate
amazing.
that. But I just have to put everybody in their context. And, you know, again, these false comparisons for me, I'm like, why don't you let everybody be great? How about that?
How about that?
Yeah. There you go. Well,
It makes for a fun conversation.
Yes, it does.
On the other MJ debate, Michael Jackson ran away with that one, 92%. So that,
Love you, babe.
Do we have time for one more? Okay, we got to do this quick, but I want your opinion on this. Senator Kamala Harris receiving criticism on social media, is talking about possibly running for president. People coming in to question her blackness because she is married to a white man.
People need to chill out.
I think so.
She was defending this on the Breakfast Club radio show. What are your thoughts on this, Santita?
Kamala Harris, fellow Bison, hello, Howard University in the house.
Hey!
Yeah. She's a year behind me. But, you know, the fact is, I think that you love who you love.
Yep.
And one of the things that we have to be very careful of for African American women who are least likely to marry outside of our race than anybody, there is a history that accompanies this. I mean, my father's mother would not look at roots. She said, do you think I want to be reminded why I look the way that I do? No.
So she wouldn't even watch it.
No, because black women have never had agency over our bodies. And we have been abused.
Right.
So I think the reflex is to say, number one, you don't want to see someone as beautiful and as qualified and just as brilliant as Kamala be taken advantage of. I think that she found someone, she makes good sense. She found someone who supports her, who loves her. I had the opportunity to go to prom with two black guys and two guys who were not black. I asked my father and mother, what do you think? Their response was, my father said, you made some great decisions. The first thing I want to make sure that you do is go with someone who is going to respect you and care for you. That to me is the baseline, someone who's going to help me to become the best person I can be. I'm so happy for Serena Williams. I want her to stay right there. I want anyone who's in a loving relationship to be right there. Drop the mic.
Big thanks to Santita Jackson.